When was the first time you met Selena?
Well, I met her. I think I was still in Pearsall working radio over there early in the years, and it goes back to she was like 9, 10 years old at the time. Yeah.
That long.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you back then?
Uh, Pretty much. I'd say about 16, 17 maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's how you met her and the family.
Yeah. And then well from Pearsall I went to Corpus, so I got to be closer then because I went to work for the radio station in Corpus.
So tell me about the first time you heard her sing.
I remember back, we used to have a dance hall in Pearsall, the Wishing Well Club, and that was probably about the first times that, actually the shows back then, back in the Wishing Well.
Same thing, Irene.
I met her after we were married, and we were at a dance at the convention center, and I was pregnant, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant! My sister-in-law is pregnant, and I think Emilio's wife is pregnant, and I think Ram's wife is pregnant. All these Tejano people are pregnant," and I was, that's how we met, because she was always joking around and very playful. Very traviesa is what I used to call her. You're traviesa.
Yeah.
So
She was a kid at heart. I mean, she never really had a normal childhood, like playing and all that stuff, because she started off very early with the music. So that's why she was still like a kid at heart.
I did ask her one time if she loved doing the music, and she said, "I love it." And I asked her, "What's the best part about you singing and performing?" And she said, "Being with my family, traveling with my mom and my dad, Suzette and Abby, with all of us together. That's my favorite part of it, the whole thing."
Tell me about how you heard that she had passed away.
I was at work, and earlier in the day, I was talking to Suzette on the phone that day about some business that she wanted me to take care of for her at the courthouse about the fan club. So I was on the phone with her, so I really didn't believe it because there were so many rumors all the time about all Tejano artists, not just her, but I used to hear rumors about Emilio, and so I didn't believe what was happening. I actually paged Selena. She had a pager. She had a sky pager. I sky paged her. I called Chris's sister Trish, and so I was just calling everybody that on the phone list, anybody that I can think of, and I didn't hear back. I didn't hear back till that evening. I did talk to Suzette the day it happened. I actually talked to her for a little bit, and then I talked to her husband Billy, and we didn't see them till the next day. We went over to Suzette's house.
Jojo, that's when I worked with you at the radio station.
Yeah, yeah.
What went through your head when you heard this?
Well, we were living in an apartment complex at the time, and I had gone to the store to go buy a gallon of milk and some other little things that we needed. So coming back, that's when I had the radio on our station, Tejano 107 at the day, and they broke, and they started talking. And I'm like, well, let me finish hearing this, and I was like, nah, it can't be. I mean, it's probably rumors again, and so I stayed listening. Finally got to the apartment part, but I stayed in the car, and no, they finally had confirmed it. So I remember getting out of the car, and the bag of groceries just fell, the gallon of milk and whatever else I had in there, and I ran inside the apartment, and well, that's when I called you, I think, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get a hold of you.
Do you think, 30 years later, it makes me sad to think what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about that day?
I still get saddened by it because it hit a not close friend, but a close friend, and I still get sad about it because I think about all the wonderful times we had. She was, like I said, she was traviesa. She would love to make us laugh, and but it really makes me angry. And sometimes when I see things post on social media, because we weren't there, we don't know what happened, and when people start talking ugly, especially about the family or about about Chris, or it just makes me angry because they weren't there. Nobody was there but them. And so when I hear all these things that they say, it just upsets me.
You guys were taking over the fan club. I mean, the fan club, in essence, is part of the reason why Yolanda ended up killing her.
Correct.
Talk to us about that period of time, all the stuff that was going on. I mean, you guys were there, and and I know you, so I know you were there, and I know you're being very honest, modest, saying that, but you were pretty close friends because she didn't have a lot of people that she would allow in her life.
Correct. I took over the fan club. They played at Lackland Air Force Base, and after the performance, we went to go eat. She asked me if I wanted to be the president of the fan club, and I told her, sure. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but she said it'll be so easy. You'll be working, closely with my schedule. Getting the fans my schedule, making sure they come to the dances. You'll be working with Capitol Records, getting the free, or not the free, but the cassette tapes and things like that. And I mean, I really didn't do anything for the first 8 months. 8 months went by so fast, and I still hadn't even touched the books or any of that. And when all of this started happening, a lot of the things that happened before, I started after the fact, I was like, oh wow, this is what was, yeah, it made sense.
Were there warning signs that something
yes,
that she was going to snap?
No, I didn't. I never imagined she was going to do that, but there was a lot of things that she was doing that was wrong, and so.
Sorry. There.
Yeah.
Before
sorry.
I forget. But something, you guys knew something wasn't right.
Yes.
So when you heard that night, were you guys up all night watching everything on TV like everybody else?
Yes. I actually, when I was at work and it happened, and nobody was calling me back, I told my coworkers, Yolanda did it. And they're like, who's that? And why would you say that? They haven't announced it. I go, I know. I knew right there and then.
What do you think she would want people to know about herself now, 30 years later? How old would she be now? 50?
In her 50s, yeah.
In her 50s.
Yeah. She loved her fans. I mean, her fans were her priority. Everything she did was for her fans. I remember one conversation we had. She was talking to this gentleman, and I asked her, who's that? And she said, it's a beer company. They want to sponsor, I told them they had to talk to my dad. She goes, but I don't want to do a beer company. I want to keep with Coke because the little ones follow me. And of course, then she threw out, but I could do margarita and they can do a raspa. It's the same thing. And I'm like, girl, no. But, because she was always playing around. But, I mean, even to think like that, she thought about her fans. She always talked about her family. She loved her family. So, yeah. Do you think that day when she walked into that motel, do you think she ever thought that she would never walk out of there again? No, because she probably trusted her. She trusted, because Selena was very trustworthy. yeah, I don't think she
Yeah.
thought anything. She
Anything
wouldn't
was-
have gone if that was the case. But she was trying to, go over there and talk to her, I guess. I don't know what happened, so I don't want to speculate.
When do you think it was that she first, like, her career went boom? When did it explode? Truly explode?
Gosh. Because we saw her when she had, 50 to 100 people in a venue to, like, it was crazy audiences. I mean, it grew, like, I don't even know. 80, late 80s maybe? No. It would have been probably Entra Mi Mundo, maybe.
Yeah.
When Bidi Bidi Bamba, La Carcacha, all those came out, I think that's when she took off. I mean,
The true crossover, Jojo, as far as the music, do you think it was that concert in Monterrey?
That made it happen for her?
Tell people that don't know about that concert.
I think so. I think that's when everything just exploded for her career and everything opening out there in Mexico. To knowing that the people over there, because it was hard for any Tejano act to play, even get their music played, because the first thing that they would do over there is criticize your wording. I mean,
The Spanish.
the Spanish. Yeah, it was like, what is this? But that's when I think that everything just, and of course her Spanish at that time wasn't that great, but she learned through the years, and you saw what happened after that.
she gave me this VHS tape, and she was performing in Mexico, but I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a Siempre en Domingo, or it was a concert in Monterrey. She said that they were singing with her, along with her, and
Singing
it
the
just like
songs.
she freaked because she didn't think that people knew her song over there, but they were all singing along. And I still have that VH tape, but she said that she just freaked out because she didn't think
They
that
all knew the words.
They knew who she was, much less all the words. Yeah.
We talked about the fans, what was important to her. What about the music? Like her music.
She loved English. I know she liked Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul. So, and then, I don't know if she liked rock as much as Chris did, because Chris loved rock.
Chris is a
He
rocker.
still loves rock, and but she loved all the music.
Yeah, she she did that disco thing, medley. So yeah, I think a little bit of everything that just.
And she can sing anything you give her, anything you give her. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
When was the last time you guys saw her?
March 17th, she had a performance here in San Antonio, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and I had this green polka dot dress, and she made fun of me the whole night because that's the way she was. She was making fun of me because I was actually wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. But that was the last night we saw her. We talked afterwards. She had recorded. She had come out in the Cristina show, and I had recorded it, and I had it on VHS. And we lived across the street from where we were at, and so I went to go get the recording because we were making fun of her because on the Cristina show she was talking about her fashion, and she says, "Yes, I make sizes from this size to 10 y cuarto." She meant 14 for 14, but she says 10 y 4. And so anyway, we made fun about it, and I went to go get the tape, loaned her the tape, and
Yeah, I
to
remember
Suzette.
that. Yeah.
I loaned it to Suzette.
10
So,
y 4.
10 y 4.
Do you think she kind of made it okay to be Mexican American, to be from this side and be from that side, for people not to feel, kind of like, I don't belong, but I do belong. I'm Tejano. I'm from Texas. Did she make it okay?
I think so. I think she did. I think she opened a lot of doors for a lot of people. She was a go-getter. She liked to do everything from fashion, singing. I mean, I think so.
Yep.
What do you think would have been her biggest regret dying so young?
Not being able to be here for her crossover, I think.
Yeah.
I think she would have made it big.
Yeah. I mean, we know she was nervous about the whole crossover thing, but you know, it would have exploded. I mean, people were already talking about, you know, if she would have been still here when that English album came out, they were already saying that, you know, bigger than, you know, Gloria Estefan, and you know, that's what they were already talking about, the English crossover. I remember that conversation.
Do you think in her personal life, do you think not having children would probably be?
Probably. Yeah. We talked about it one night after she recorded her Call Notes commercial here in San Antonio. We ended up, after the wrap, we ended up going back to the hotel, and she was like, come on, let's go, because room service is going to be part of the bill, so we can order everything. And I'm like, oh my God. So we went back to the room, and on the way over there, Jojo went. He drove over there, and I went with her. She had a car that they had her on.
Yeah, they went in a limo. I drove my car.
So, and we talked about it. She asked me about pregnancy and all that. Was it easy? Did it hurt? And you know, I was like, well, I don't know, because mine didn't last that long. So I really can't say, but a lot of people do say that it does hurt. But mine were like boom, like really quick. So I don't know what to compare it with. But I think so. And she would have been a great mother, I think.
Yeah, they would have been great parents. Most of them.
How in love were they?
Very. I think so. She was crazy about Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 And what did you think when people talk about all the rumors and all that other stuff?
I don't believe it. Like I said, nobody even knows. I mean, no one knows. She's the only one that knows. And I don't believe that for a minute, because how we saw them right before, I mean, no way. There was no way.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't believe it.
We had so much fun together. The concerts, the times we stayed at their house, the time we went to their house, barbecues. I mean, you name it. It was like, you know, it's.
Yeah. So when I was pregnant with my son, we didn't even know about Chris. We didn't know there was even an interest. We knew Chris, but we didn't know it was going on. I was pregnant, and she goes, I think if you have a girl, you name her Selena, and if you have a boy, you name her Celino. And I go, I am not naming my child Celino. He goes, well, then name him Christopher. And I go, well, that's a pretty name. I named my son Christopher. He was born in 1992. 3 months later, she gets married to Chris. And I was like, and so some of the people that we knew, they're like, did you know? And I'm like, I did not know. Mm-hmm. But she told me to name him that, but I did not know. I just named him Christopher.
No idea.
No idea.
Do you think, where do you think she would be at right now?
Very high. I always used to tell her, I say, you're going to get so big, you're probably not even going to know who Jojo and I are, ever. She would say, no, I'll never forget my peoples. But yeah, I think she would have been big.
In both English and Spanish.
Was that the dream? Was that the goal? Was that her and her dad's goal?
I think it was hers. A lot of people say that it's all the dad, it's all her, Mr. Quintanilla. No, it's not. She loved the music, and I would ask her all the time, you know, do you like what you do? And he goes, and I asked her, like I said, what is the thing that you like about what you do? And she told me, I love the music. I love traveling with my family. But I never saw him as being overbearing, or he was protecting his daughter. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like any other man would do, you know, he was just protecting her. And I think that any other father would do the same thing. Except on that day, but I mean, she was already married. I mean, he wasn't there all the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
How, I mean, and then talking to Chris, seeing Chris now compared to back then, it just seems he's in a different place.
Correct.
It was very hard when
Oh
she
yeah.
died.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. We
Yeah.
saw Chris the day after it happened, and I mean I felt so bad. I mean I just it broke my heart to see the way he was. Then we saw him like a day later. He was still wearing like the same shirt and everything. I mean, he was just. We saw him. I was subpoenaed for the change of venue trial, and so we saw him that day after we were at the courthouse. We went over to his house, and we saw him that day as well.
Yeah.
Did you think he was going to be able to make it through? Because
It's
talking to
hard.
him, he was lost.
Oh, yeah, he was lost.
He's still, I think, I mean, it was a big thing for him. I mean, it changed him. I mean, that was his love, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
but you're right. He was lost. I mean, it wasn't the same Chris for a while. It just, no. I mean, just imagine.
Yeah, I mean, and even for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you first saw her, she was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
That day that she got shot, I mean, for you personally, how was that pain of knowing that you lost your friend, not just the person that was up on stage or on the radio or on the commercials?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, still today, this day, I kind of get emotional just watching shows and reading things online, social media.
Yep.
I mean, it was very hard for us.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, just like any her fans, some people didn't even know her. I see them crying, and you know, a lot of tears, and people that didn't even know her, you know.
Yep.
So I can just imagine, you know.
And explain to people, you were called to testify. You were subpoenaed
Correct.
for the trial. Why were you subpoenaed?
So I don't know if y'all saw the series, but there's I took over the fan club. So one time that we stayed in Corpus, I brought home this filing cabinet.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you guys want to talk about that or not?
That's fine.
You sure?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So start again.
Okay. So what happened was one time that we were in Corpus, and I was the new president of the fan club. I was giving a filing cabinet with a bunch of fan club stuff. And I had not gone through it. I didn't know what was in it until everything started happening. And I started going through it, and I saw some checks, and I saw things that I shouldn't be seeing. And so I was like, whoa, you know, and then that's when everything started happening. I used to work for an insurance company. I got the call that one of Yolanda's employees, they were terminated. They didn't have coverage. And I was like, what? And so, you know, I started helping with that, trying to get them reinstated. A lot of stuff having to do with money and everything. And then my brother-in-law did Selena's letterhead, her business cards and things like that, and never got paid. And he finally gave up and said, you know what, just tell her forget it. And but it wasn't Selena, it was, you know. So anyway, I had this cabinet, and I was called to testify about the context of the cabinet, and actually a blue binder that was in the cabinet. So that's why I was testifying.
when you were, and this was in Houston, right?
No, this was in Corpus. It was at the change of venue.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to change it to Houston, so I got to go on this. I got on the stand for that, and then I was subpoenaed for Houston, but I never went on the stand. So,
Have you ever thought, I mean, this past week, what was it like waiting to hear if Yolanda was going to walk out free?
it was nerve-wracking. I am so glad she didn't. And I'm glad that there was justice, that they see what she did. And so I'm glad that she didn't get out. Yeah.
Jojo, the same thing. What were you thinking as everybody's, waiting to hear? Are they every so many years are they gonna let her out?
I mean, of course, nobody knew what they're gonna do, but me, I kind of just thought that, it's not gonna happen. I mean, I doubted seriously that anything, that she's gonna be set loose. I kind of had a feeling, and then when, it happened, I was like, that gut feeling that, you can just imagine, if that would have happened, so many people out there are fans that you never know what could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to Yolanda if you could say something to her?
We spent, all of us, so many times together, and I don't know. To me, she didn't have to do what she did. But knowing the fact of her career that she had, she knew what to do. You can have a person live, or you can have them die. And unfortunately, she chose that route. But it could have been taken care of in other ways. I know Selena would have probably
Forgave her.
Yeah.
I'm very convinced that Selena would have said, "Okay, that's fine. You stole from me. Just let's
call
move on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
I'm not gonna worry about it anymore."
Yeah. Go your way, I go mine.
Yeah.
What would you want to say to Yolanda?
Nothing. I'm very angry with her for what she did. I don't think that she should have taken it out or ended it that way, I think, like I said, I think Selena would have forgave her and would have just moved on from it. But I have so much anger towards her, like a lot of anger, so.
This was somebody that loved her as a friend, was dealing
Correct.
with her fans.
Mhm.
It wasn't a stranger.
No.
Family,
And Selena
like
put all
family.
her trust in her, like a lot of trust in her, and then you go and do that to someone that trusted you.
What would Selena say about Yolanda when she talked about her?
She didn't ever say anything bad. At the beginning she did, but I remember one time she did make a comment, but it was at the very beginning. Then they both went to film the Beady Beady Bum Bum video, and that's when they came back, and she told me if I could take over the fan club.
So when do you think Selena figured out, had a feeling something wrong was going on?
I think as soon as we showed her all the records, because even when I was trying to get them reinstated on their insurance, the account coordinator or manager for this account even told me, I know she was talking about Yolanda, she goes, I know she's your friend, but she's a liar. And I was like, what? Like, I was shocked that she would even say that. But I think Selena didn't know, because when I was trying to get him reinstated, I did talk to Selena briefly and say, hey, they want y'all to do this, this, and this so you can get reinstated for your employees' insurance. And Selena's response to me was like, oh, hold on, let me let you talk to Yolanda, because I don't know what you're talking about. And so, but I don't think she knew what was going on at all.
Yeah, no clue.
How close were they?
They were very close. She, like I said, she trusted her. She trusted her and too much. And she always tried to help everybody. Selena was just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of things, like I said, that happened after. Actually, Yolanda had called me that she wanted the filing cabinet, and I had to put her off. I called Mr. Quintanilla, and he said, "Don't let that go. I'm on my way." And he came and he picked it up. And then
In
I told
record
him.
time.
And then I told him about the insurance. He was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" But I didn't know what was going on. I put it all together after everything was happening. Like, it was happening really quick. Yeah. So.
Do you think Selena died knowing that she had been betrayed?
I think so. I think, yeah. She was probably hurt by,
Mm-hmm.
at the very end, I think she was hurt that she got shot.
Because
That,
she
how
put
dare
all
you,
her
like,
trust.
how dare you do this to me? And I was here, I was your friend, you know. So.
Anything else that you want to share for people to know about your friend?
She was funny. She was like a regular person. Went to the mall. We went to the mall one time, and we were at the store, and one of the employees yelled out, "Hey, Selena, your layaway is still here." And I turned around, and I go, "You have a layaway?" I said, "I get a layaway. You don't get a layaway." But it was so funny because she goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." And she was just very funny. I was there with her when we did some of the call notes commercial. That was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And explain to people what it was for people that don't know.
Call notes was part of AT&T, and she was filming a call notes. It's like a voicemail for AT&T, and she was filming that, and it was like 3 days, long days for a little commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a lot of fun. She was always playing around. They gave me like this disposable camera. I was supposed to be in the audience flashing it, but then we started taking pictures of each other and not doing what we were supposed to be. So she was getting us in trouble. But yeah, she was just very fun to be around with.
Yep.
And you? What memory do you have that nobody else may know other than you guys? What are you gonna remember about her?
I mean,
Forever?
the fun times we had, everything that we shared, spent together, you know. I mean, not just her, but, you know, Chris and Suzette and everybody. We just had very good times. You know, it was always fun. Like I said, I mean, there was a time too we were, I think it was T-Town, and they used to have that back room for the artists.
The infamous back room.
The infamous
where
back
you go
room.
hang out with the artists.
Yes, and they always kept snacks back there. And who was it, Jojo, or that we had?
That was at Fiesta, Texas. My son was.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
She
Yes,
was
yes.
mesmerized by her, and he was standing by the door, and he would not move. So I got up to go get him, and he had like these M&Ms or Skittles or something. She was actually throwing him candies when we weren't watching, so my son wouldn't move. He froze, and I was like,
He was
"Selena, you're
frozen
so
like a
mean."
statue.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
it was
she
covered in.
Yeah, she was throwing him
Skittles or whatever it
candies,
was,
and he just stood there like he didn't want to move. But yeah.
Oh my God! Now that you said T-Town, people that didn't get to experience the madness that was T-Town. What was it like in T-Town when Selena was, you know, the final big act? What was T-Town like?
Oh my God, that last show there was. We got there, and the line was from the door all the way around the building, both sides. So I mean, I don't remember how many people fit in there, but I mean the lines were crazy, and we were like about to park, and I was like, "Oh, God, we're gonna be a while before we go in." So we started walking right towards the door, and David Kramer, who was our bodyguard at the time, saw us, and we were gonna go get in line because we didn't want to just jump in. So no, he saw us, and right away he said, "Hey, no, come
Come
on
on
in,
in.
just go in. It's all good," So of course everybody's staring at us because the lines were both ways. But I mean, well, it was one of the advantages, being radio, but and being friends. So yeah, I mean, it was just, God, it was a great concert, and then the live album too. We were there for that. I mean,
And Hemisphere, if I
that one
remember.
and that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hemisphere, I know I had to leave at some point, but I remember we all had got to go upstage.
On stage, yeah.
And bring her out.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like for you thinking now of that moment? And it's always captured in the movie and the this and the that.
Mm-hmm.
Hemisphere was also a big turning point. For
Oh
her.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember that day good. I mean, we were all hanging around the back, and and we all had to go up and bring back bands, and I mean, again, just messing around in the back, and in the bus or whatever it was that we were hanging around, and up until the time that she went on stage. But I mean, and remember, it was packed.
That crowd. How many
Mhm.
people were there?
It was
There-
packed.
Yeah,
it was crowded.
packed. I mean,
Thousands. It was insane.
yeah, it was.
It was
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, it was packed. I mean, everywhere, front,
Yeah.
sides, the back, of course, was blocked, but everywhere else was wall to wall. I mean, there's.
And I wish we would have gotten more pictures of her, but I was always the one that would, if we would go somewhere after a concert and we were at a friend's house and she was just late, she just wanted to lay back, I was the one that always was telling people that we didn't know, hey, can you put your camera away? Because, she wants her moment, she doesn't get to do this very often. So we didn't do many pictures. I mean, we have a lot of pictures, but not as many as I would have wanted to,
If you would have known.
if I would have
Yeah,
known.
yeah. I mean, we.
Anybody knew.
But I was always the one telling people, excuse me, can you put your camera away? She just wants to relax. She doesn't need you in her face. And this is like an after party. And
Yeah, but I mean, knowing Selena and the way you knew
Yeah.
her too, I mean,
She would never say no.
No, she would say no to anybody.
so we were almost like the bad person, like, hey. So,
Oh, good cop.
yeah.
And I think the last question for me would be, can Tejano ever really be dead? When she was the ultimate crossover that opened
Yeah.
the door.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of, I mean, she opened the door for many, yes. And so it just keeps going. I don't think it's ever going to be dead. I think it's growing now. It's getting bigger again. And there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of people that love to sing her songs. But I mean, she opened the doors for many, many artists out there.
Jojo, talk about your show too. So speaking of Tejano's not dead. So when you do your show, where can people hear it? And do you do a lot of Selena?
Yes, we
Yeah.
support, of course, our artists, but we also support a lot of the new artists because, I mean, after everything that went through with Tejano, if you don't support these new bands, I mean, what's going to happen is going to die again. And we got to show support to everybody, and we do that on our station, which is Tejano Up Radio. It's an internet station, 24/7. We stream. I mean, now not like back then. Now it's all Now it's all streaming. Everything's about the internet. I mean, because you can reach. I mean, this. You can reach anywhere around the country. Around the world with streaming. Compared to a station back then, it's just wherever the signal was, as far as it could go.